Welcome to my lesson on fractions. This video will help you learn fractions regardless of why you want to learn them. Please watch this video as often as you need to. Also, you can pause the video so you can practice or take notes. There are three types of fractions. In this first example, we'll review the proper fraction. So over on the left, we see the number 1 over 2. The 1 equals the numerator, and the 2 equals the denominator. Over to the right, I've shown a circle that shows the same thing, just in picture form. So we see 1/2 of the circle is shaded. So 1 out of 2 pieces are shaded. So another way to look at the 1 over 2, or the half, is out of. So 1 out of 2 pieces are shaded. Now to look at the terms. First we have the denominator. That's the number at the bottom of the fraction. This means the whole. So in this particular example, there are 2 pieces in the whole. Again, if we look at the circle, there are 2 pieces. There's a left and a right, 2 pieces. Now the next term is the numerator. The numerator represents the number we have out of the whole. So again, if we look back to the circle, we see 1 out of 2 is shaded in red. Okay, so 1 over 2 is red. I hope that makes sense for you. So again, we have the numerator, the denominator, and then I've shown a picture over to the right. The second type of fraction we'll talk about is the improper fraction. So as we see here, we see the number 3 over 2, where the numerator is 3 and the denominator is 2. Now if you're visual, like I am, I like to see this as well. That helps me learn because I can picture it. So if we look over to the right, we see a picture form of 3 over 2. So we see 2 individual blocks that are broken down into 2. Okay, so that is the 2 is the whole or the out of. Now if we count the individual shaded blocks, we see 1, 2, 3 that are shaded green. So off to the right we see this fraction represented as 3 over 2. So again, what this means is we have 3 green shaded blocks out of 2 individual increment blocks. Okay, so to review, denominator is the whole or the out of, also the bottom number in the fraction. In an improper fraction, the number is larger than the denominator. So for this example, again, we see the 3 over 2. This example shows the whole as 2 or 2, and the numerator is 3 or 3. I want you to note how I've written those last 2 sentences. You might see the number written as 2, TWO, or you might see the number 2. It doesn't mean it's a trick question. I just want you to familiarize yourself with the written letter TWO or THREE. Okay? When problems become a little more complex, you might see them written this way in a word problem, and I don't want you to skip over that particular number. So I want you to familiarize yourself with seeing it both ways. Our third type of fraction is the mixed number. If we look, we see the number 2.5. That represents a whole number and a fraction. Ideally, you want the fraction to be in proper form as this one is. Okay? Those of us that are visual, we might want to look to the right for the aid that we see. We see the 2 blocks that are shaded in yellow. Those represent the whole number of 2. So we see 1 block, 2 block, completely shaded in yellow. Okay? So those 2 blocks represent the number 2, the whole number that's in our mixed number. If we look below, we see another block that's broken down into 2 sections. One of those sections is shaded in yellow. So if we remember our fraction, that means 1 out of 2, 2 being the whole. Okay? So if we look to the left, we'll see the 1 over 2. Again, the 2 is the whole because that block is broken down into 2 pieces, but only 1 is shaded in yellow. So if we want to count that again, we have 2 whole blocks, and then half a block is shaded in yellow. Okay? So now to the text. Our mixed number includes a whole number and a fraction. The example here includes the whole number of 2, or TWO, and the fraction of half, or 1/2. In a mixed number, the fraction should be in proper fraction form, with the numerator being lower than the denominator. Okay? So if you want to look back up to the top, again, the 2.5, or look to the blocks, 2.5. In review, the parts of a fraction, we have the numerator, which is the top number, and the denominator, which is the bottom number. We've also learned about 3 fraction types. The proper fraction, which might be shown as 1 over 2. The improper fraction, which might be shown as 3 over 2. And lastly, our mixed number, which is 1 over 2. Notice I've reduced some of the labeling, and I haven't shown as many pictures. Now I want you to know it's always safe to take the time to write a picture to help you identify what this should represent. At the beginning, you might rely on this practice a little more until you become more comfortable with looking at both. Okay? There will come a time when you've used these fractions enough that you'll rely less on the picture form, maybe be able to visualize it in your mind. But it's always okay to draw something that represents what you want to do. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments. If you have a suggestion for a video, let me know, and I'll do my best to create one for you.